In this video, I'm going to explain the Mercury retrograde that we're in pre-shadow period, but the one that we're experiencing now in December of 22, that lasts until February, around the end of the first week in February. Now, if you don't know what Mercury retrograde is and what it means, go ahead and click the video below, and I've made a short video on what Mercury retrograde means and why it looks like it's going backward. But we're going to talk about this specific Mercury retrograde that goes in Capricorn, that goes retrograde on December 29th, lasting through until January 17th, excuse me. Let me just make sure I'm getting my notes correctly here. We are in the pre-shadow period of Mercury retrograde. So if you hear me say something that seems a little bit backward, just know that, get the collective message, because we are in the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. So those of you who don't know, my name is Teresa Walker-Lee, and I am an intuitive life coach, energy worker. I do astrology readings from intuitive downloads. So some people like to say psychic abilities, but we all have psychic abilities. We all have our intuition, our gut feeling. Everybody on the planet has it. Some people have it at different levels than others, and there's ways that you can train yours to become you can be a lot more intuitive with training. So with this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, I will go into my intuition, and I want you to take away what feels good to you, what resonates, what makes sense, and then let go of the rest. There's a reason that you're here. There's a reason you're listening to this message, and I'm grateful for you for listening and being here and being you. So with this Mercury retrograde, so we're in the pre-shadow period. Mercury retrograde of December 22nd. The pre-shadow period started around December 12th, and it's going to last until December 28th. And then we go into retrograde December 29th. It lasts through until January 17th. And then the post-shadow period is January 18th all the way through to about February 7th. And so this Mercury in retrograde in Capricorn, what I get from this is with Mercury retrograde, it's important to tie up loose ends. It's important to face what you haven't been facing. And if you're going into any type of major contracts, to really have an open mind and pay attention to detail, to be able to communicate clearly and effectively, and follow your gut. I think I already said that. So it's important to do that year long anyway. But from this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, I feel like it'll be important to face what it is that you haven't been facing in business. And Mercury in Capricorn tends to create a workhorse, someone who's constantly getting things done. And maybe it feels like it's a time, really, Mercury retrograde, to slow down. But for this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, it feels like it's important to slow down with your business decisions, as far as don't be rash with and quick to decide and jump into a business decision or a business partnership. Think about it. Follow your intuition, follow your gut. What does your heart say? Make sure you're communicating clearly of your non-negotiables, your wants, your needs, what it is that you really want from this type of contract. Also too, if you're traveling for business, make sure that you are, with whatever vehicle you're moving with. So let's say if you're going on a plane, make sure you double check your reservations, get there early, make sure you have everything that you need, carry on. If you want it to go smoothly as possible, just, and you can energetically work things as well. You're an energetic being living a human experience. Whatever outcome you have in mind is what is your possibility to create. The possibility that comes into fruition. And that's for a different type of lesson. If you're interested in working with me to learn how to do that, you can click the link below and make an appointment with me, or buy a program. But on how to tap into your intuition and create the results. But for this one, I feel like for you who's listening, and let's say you haven't done any type of training like that to use your energy to change the results, it's just time to slow down, prepare, make sure that you're taking care of yourself, especially when it comes to business. Don't burn the candle on both ends. Delegate. This is the time to learn to delegate. You don't have to control everything. If you want to continue to have responsibilities, that's fine. Or if there are certain responsibilities that are just yours, then that's great too. That may be just your position, but it is also important to not have to control everything and burn yourself out. So delegate, follow your gut. Are you delegating to the right person? Pay attention to the detail, because this Mercury retrograde, if you delegate and you give it, this responsibility to someone else, and you have a feeling that it's not going to work out, then somehow it will fall through, or it'll go haywire, or somehow you'll have to put more work in the back end instead of doing more work at the front end, as far as listening to your intuition, slowing down enough to be able to balance that your work life out. I also get with this Mercury retrograde that you could come into some money. If you owe money, that may come around as well, but because of the position of the where Venus is from about the shadow period around December 11th to about January 3rd, I feel like it's more of a smoother energy. And so if you have loose ends with something that's happened before, it's a time where it will probably come back and you can tie up that loose end and close the deal there. So for example, our boat sunk. We had a boat and on the lake here, and it sunk. And it actually happened during the last Mercury retrograde, and finally months later, so it was in September, months later, we're here in December, we're starting to finally wrap it up again. And there's a lot of other details that have happened that I won't go into here, but for the purposes of what we're talking about, things like that can happen where it's going to be a favorable experience, just it just didn't seem very favorable or feel very good when we found out that our boat sunk initially, but now we're wrapping everything up, and so there may be something where that could be happening, but also too, there could be money that's been owed to you that is coming around, or something that's happened before where you're starting now. The money comes to you. It's making its way closer to you. And like I said, if you do owe money, do what you pay it, work it out. Even if you don't have all of it, communicate about it, be upfront and open, and do something in favor of that. That it's important to just face it now. Do the work up front so that you're not having to work double, triple, quadruple, depending on how long, if you haven't faced it, in the end. And then I also get too that you could, there's definitely going to be some sort of communication opportunities with love. And it could be that an old partner comes back, an old person, or someone that you maybe dated, or maybe an ex relationship of somehow, or in your own relationship, there's things that you are needing to face. It's a favorable time, even if it's uncomfortable. So some people will say don't go into a relationship, or don't rekindle anything with an ex, or just end it. But really, it's really up to you. It's up to you to follow your intuition, and then to move into action. Right now it's time to pay attention to the details. Why were you not with this person in the first place? Why did you separate? Why did it not work out when you were dating? Think about those things, and then be ready to face them again, because that's what happens with Mercury retrograde. It gives you the opportunity to shift pattern. And I feel like with this Mercury retrograde, it's the opportunity to shift pattern. If you're going to face something like a new relationship, or maybe a business partnership that's come back, you just shift it so that it works out, or you decide it's not for you. That's also a possibility, and that's okay. This energy is going to give you a more ease and flow of as you move forward. And I'm smiling right now because ease and flow could mean that the charge, the emotional energy of it is up here, when it could be up here, or maybe it's a lot more balanced, depending on how much work that you've done, how much inner work that you've done. And there are times when going through these things, like your inner child will want to cry. You'll be uncomfortable. And I often talk about building muscles. You soothe your inner child by building strength, by loving yourself, by doing the right thing, even the right thing with other people, because you carry that energy when you feel guilt or disappointment. So again, nobody is perfect. And right now, and it's okay to keep moving forward. You just own your stuff. And right now is an opportunity to say it out loud, to communicate it, to address things. And it's okay, like I said, not to be perfect and to stumble, but you continue to be uncomfortable. Let your inner child cry if it needs to. Hug yourself and just keep moving forward, knowing you're doing the right thing for growth, and so that you really are truly happier and fulfilled, because it's uncomfortable to face the things that you haven't faced. It's different. The process can be scary and feel challenging, but just know it's so worth it. It's so worth it when you face what you need to face, when you say what you need to say. And right now, with Mercury being retrograde in Capricorn, and we also have the Sagittarius energy happening, and then we're in the pre-shadow period, but people could tend to have sharp tongues. And so if you really want to have that end result, then you want to communicate clear and effectively, say your truth, do your best so that it's a balance, so that you're actually communicating back and forth instead of stopping the communication because words are so harsh. Truth has to be said. It's really important to face what you need to face. And right now, I'm feeling that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn is going to give you the opportunity if you haven't faced it. And so you have a choice. You can choose to face it now, or have the lesson returned to you over and over again until you figure it out, because that's really what happens. And there is a way to manipulate, to change, to adjust the energy, but this is not what we're talking about here with this Mercury retrograde, but it is possible. I also get that there's going to be new forms, like things, these adjustments and these opportunities are going to give you a change in your life, probably in business. I also keep getting with love and money, and we're in our North Node is in Taurus right now, and so collectively everybody is feeling the urge to upgrade, the urge to really live true nature and purpose. So you're probably feeling, like, what is it? If you're not actually living your true nature and purpose, you're feeling that need to do that. You're feeling like it's time for me to actually do what I want to do and to shed the old patterns and to let go of what's been holding you back. For some people it's communication and talking, and for other it's hiding behind something, and it's time to let that go, to speak your truth, to learn those skills, and upgrade. And I feel like business and love as well with this. And then I feel like it's favorable for money. So reach out if there is something that's been that you haven't been facing. Reach out to your partner, whether it be in business, whether it's romance. Someone may come to you anyway, but just be prepared. Be prepared to be your truest, highest version of yourself. If you're not perfect at it, that's okay. Nobody is perfect. But if you want to have a fruitful, fulfilled life, this is the opportunity to take the higher road. And if you are not taking the higher road, to even say out loud, or to go back to saying, what, I didn't, that wasn't very nice, or what I really meant to say was, this. And the more you practice this, the smoother the opportunities go. And it really depends on you and what it is you're here to do. It depends on what experiences you'll get. But if you're watching this right now, that's what I'm getting from this Mercury retrograde. And if you don't know already, and I believe I said so in the beginning here, it's important to follow your intuition. So I love astrology. I use astrology as a tool, but you can do anything that you want, regardless of the positions and the aspects. You really have the ability to shift and to create the life that you love, regardless of what's happening on the outside, and to move in a way that is the best for you, is what you're here to learn to do, regardless of Mercury retrograde. So if you want something, go for it. If you want to, so I'm getting here, especially with partnership, address the partnership. And if you want to rekindle, really follow your gut. And if you decide that it's for you, then get ready to learn the tools that you need to learn in order to have that wonderful relationship that you want. And also, if you decide that it's not for you, then be prepared to let it go and to start to create new pattern so that you are feeling the best. You're in an optimal position moving in a different direction. And in business and in partnership and in purchases of assets, same thing. Really just be aware of them. It's really, everything is for an upgrade right now. And so just pay attention and have clear and effective communication, and go ahead and move forward and just follow your gut. I'm pointing to my heart. Follow your gut, listen and feel what your heart is saying, because you truly know what the right thing is for you. So I hope that this is helpful for you. Let me know what you're experiencing with this Mercury retrograde. I do have a friend who had a wheel fall off of her. The wheel just fell off when she was driving home from out of country, going home, and she was able to stay grounded. And everything was okay. She's safe at home now. But there are things that happen that could just completely throw you off. But when you do the work, you learn how to manage your life and manage the things that happen in a way where you come out on top, where you're okay. And in fact, where you get something that is even better on the other side. And so keep moving forward, follow your intuition, and know that this Mercury retrograde is here to give you opportunity. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.